So can you tell me about your character in Moonlight?
Yes, Sharon or Black is the third segment of the Sharon evolution. He is someone who is beautifully flawed. He is someone who is struggling with his identity. He is a homosexual man who is kind of combating that in the best ways he knows how, as putting on this facade, this, physical armor. He is someone who we all know, who we all love. Black.
That's great. And how did you get involved?
I was sent the script and I read it, and 5-6 pages into it, I was like, this is the most incredible thing ever in life. And I read it 2 to 3 times and just knew the whole script before I had to audition for the first time. And initially I went in for the role of Kevin, the role that Andre Holland plays. And Barry stops me halfway through the audition and he says, no, I want you to read for the other guy. This is going to get really interesting for you. And we did that 2 to 3 times, and I got the call that I booked the role, and here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
What drew you in about the script?
Oh man, just the fact that it was the best script that I had ever had the opportunity to read. With it being so early in my career, it was just a blessing. And again, the character was someone that I knew. I loved him. He's my best friend. He's my brother. And I just knew I had to do my best at telling the story the best way I knew how. And then obviously Barry Jenkins is a genius. He's a cinematic genius.
What was he like as a director?
He was very free. He was very intellectual. Again, cinematically, he's the most intellectual person that I've ever had the chance to meet. And I'm someone who is very, I'm the little kid that needs to know everything. I need to touch everything. And he was someone who was really there to kind of feed that. He really told me everything that I needed to know, and he knew the answer to every question that I had. And I have this thing where I ask everybody that's in the industry that I know, their top 5 movies. And Barry gave me this long list of films that I needed to watch, and I did. And now I understand why he is the way he is. And he's just the most compassionate, most just omnipotent, just bubbly person that you ever had the chance to meet. So it was incredible.
I mean, you and Andre have such incredible chemistry. What was it like working with him? How did you guys do that?
Yeah,
so cool.
So it was funny. The first scene, the first day I met Andre was the scene when we did the car scene, and it was just the weirdest moment because we're in the trailers. And it's, 9 o'clock at night, and then I get a knock, and it's Andre Holland, and I'm like, oh, wow. And he's just someone that I have the most respect for as an actor, the most love for as a human being, because he's a beautiful person. There was a moment when we were running lines in the hotel room that he left, or he was leaving afterwards, and he just turned back, and he asked if there was anything I needed from the store, because he was going to the store. And to me, that was a moment that really showed me his heart. And that kind of bled through to the script and bled through to the story, because I felt that Sharon needed that, because he didn't have a father. He needed that kind of guidance. He needed that person to be there for him. And so the love and the respect that I have for Andre, I felt kind of translated to the story. And I think that's why it was such a good kind of chemistry.
Did you have much time to rehearse? Or?
Not at all. And again, another thing that Barry did that I think was just incredible was the scene where I get the call from Andre. Was the first time that I had ever heard Andre's voice. That was I think my second day of shooting, and Andre hadn't been to set yet. But he was in Miami, he was on the beach, and he was just hanging out. And I thought that was a great thing, because he didn't have to do that. And it was just the way that Barry did that, it was perfect. Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Can you describe what Moonlight's about in a few sentences? You had to summarize it.
Yeah. Moonlight is, in my eyes, because everyone has their own interpretation of what it is, but to me, it's an epic true love story about, finding out who you are, knowing yourself, loving yourself, being able to love yourself so that you can love others, accepting yourself. It's about self. Yeah, that's what I think it's about.
Why do you think it's important for audiences to see the film? What do you hope they take away?
I hope that I think it's important because we all have moments where we struggle with our identity. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your life is. There is a moment in your life where you're kind of confused or you don't know. And I think that reigns true, and I think that's why most people can, relate to it, and why it resonates with people, because, like I said, we all have those moments. And I think that it's important to see films like this that allow you to understand that that's okay, and that allow you to understand that life is a growing process, and you will get to that point. It's inevitable. You grow, you learn, you adapt, you expand, you do all these things, and I think, yeah, it's just important to understand that that's okay.
And what was your reaction when you saw the final movie?
Oh man, getting over seeing little Alex and seeing how identical he is to my baby pictures, I was just blown away by that. And then even Ashton, because I had that tall, skinny, gangly phase too, which is why I look the way I do now, because I got picked on. So it was strange to really see my life be depicted in this film through different people who I had known prior to shooting the film, or prior to 2 days ago, really, honestly. So it was so strange, and then having my mother there with me actually to kind of see some of the moments, it was just the most amazing moment. And then to see Barry be kind of like, okay, we did this. It was great to see the relief on his face and the excitement.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's great. That's all I have. That was awesome.
Sweet.
So much.